The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the true nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
So first and foremost, we want to wish Trinidad and Tobago a happy belated independence. Here's to that.
You know what, we could take it.
All right, cool. And secondly, let's kick it off as we always do. We must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we say thank you to those that came before us, the ancestors, and we're not just talking about the Tanos and the Kalinagos, because we all know and have come to accept that Columbus lied. But also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, and the P this week stands for
paper, brown paper, paper in books. People petitioning for paper.
You know, I want to give a shout out to the persons that were innovative enough to start to sell pre-papered copybooks.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, right? We do have plenty of time today. Right? This is the living room with yours truly, DJ Aaron 868, where I'm always great and I'm never late, alongside my bro with no furrow,
Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage and the local stage.
Really quickly, we ain't wiping no feet this week. We just hanging hats. It was a pleasure to meet Trini Pride and Point 62 last week, Tuesday, at the gospel concert. It was really nice. It's a shame you all had to see me running to buy a snack box, but
yeah, literally see you running off. It was quite the sight. Scampering in the darkness. It was quite the sight. You're lucky hunting season didn't open yet.
Hey, don't be a mina, right? Excellent concert, Kenny. You don't hear me compliment you often. So, excellent concert.
And congratulations on being the recipient of the recognition, the award.
Yeah. He deserves some recognition enough.
Agreed.
Right? You are anybody to say thank you to Ricardo?
Yeah, I actually want to thank the GSTT, the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago, for the contribution. You know, every year for what could be 8 or 9 years now, I've been assisting a good friend of mine with school lists, book lists. Right. We normally fill 5 or 6 book lists according to the support that we get for people within his community and that type of thing. And this year, the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago was a huge help in terms of sponsoring several book lists and laptop and that type of thing. So I want to acknowledge their contribution. It was really a big help, and considering the timing that we're in, to get some support from a group like that was quite appreciated.
You know, I always hear of the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago, and you know, I'd like to take this opportunity to extend to them to come join us in the living room.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, they had their 7th conference. The 7th annual conference was earlier this year as well, so maybe we could get them with a follow-up.
Yeah, let's learn about the geography of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, I think they're involved in that a little bit.
A little bit, right? But really quickly, guys, let's move on, because we're hearing people knocking to come inside the living room tonight. Tonight we are joined by the AHA Academy, right? I wouldn't give no long bio tonight. We will let them tell you what they're about, right? So tonight we are joined by Cheyenne, Alejandra, Regan, my apologies, Tonya, and Michelle. Right, so you know how we do. You know how we rule when we have to come into the living room.
There's the Young Professionals program, right?
Young Professionals, indeed.
Yeah, cool.
Right. Vorish, you all here?
You're not rolling the R this week?
Vorish?
Welcome to the living room.
And we are back inside the living room after that lovely musical interlude by Vorish. You're gonna got to roll the R's.
In French?
No, we just roll the R regardless.
We didn't roll the R in regardless, though.
Ricardo.
You know what? Let's too early.
Yeah. Yes, too early. It's too early. Tonight we are joined by a bevy of beautiful women.
Legitimate question. Are we still allowed to say things like that in 2022? I'm not even sure what the rules are anymore.
What do you mean, like a bevy of beautiful women?
Yeah.
But that's the collective of a group of beautiful women. A bevy.
I know, but what I'm saying is I'm legitimately asking, are we allowed to make comments like that as well-intentioned as it is in 2022?
You know what? We should ask our guest that as the first question.
Mm-hmm. And then we lead into the real first question.
Yeah. Is a comment like that allowed?
I think it is. It's quite fine. I mean, I think it's where it's coming from, and I can feel it's coming from a great place in your heart there, Aaron.
You see? I'm sure you feel better about me interrupting you now, Aaron. And
as you always do.
The most important question.
Yeah.
Ladies, how are you? Not how you're going, not where's the scene, like legitimately, how are you? We'll go with Tanya first.
I am really fantastic, Ricardo.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And Michelle?
I'm glad to be here and I feel great.
I like that. Mm-hmm. Alejandra?
I'm good and happy to be here.
Right. Reagan?
I'm also good. It's a great opportunity to be here.
And last but certainly not least, Sharon.
I'm good. Feeling a little cold. My AC is kind of blowing on me, but nice to be.
And just for pirate's sake, Ricardo.
Me?
Yeah.
I am great like carrot in coleslaw.
Why did I ask?
That I am. Or cabbage, depending on which way you go. You, Aaron, Mr. Man, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I can't complain at all.
Mm-hmm. You seem freshly coiffed, head well polished, beard luscious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shows now, you know where this go.
So we have a very interesting opportunity this evening. For the past several weeks, Aaron and I have been discussing a very trying season in Trinidad and Tobago. We've had issues with violence and crime that it is making the average Trinbagonian and visitor feel a lot less comfortable than they normally would feel. And we haven't just been criticizing and pointing fingers. We've been going into depth, into deep conversations, trying to find out from the different people in the different arenas, what are our options? What can we do? So this is a beautiful opportunity for us here in terms of youth empowerment, in terms of training opportunities, in terms of, all right, let's give the youth a direction. And hopefully that would help us to stem the tide of frustration that we see and expressed. So I'm truly honored to be here with you this evening. And Aaron, great job on guest selection.
No. I can't take all the credit. You know, I must say thank you to Marsha for making this link.
You know, Marsha has definitely set the stage for our contribution.
Right? So let's kick this off firstly and let's learn about the program, all right? What was the driving force behind creating a program like this one?
Well, let me say to you that Marsha Marchand, I want to point out that Marsha Marchand is not only setting the stage, but Marsha is also on the stage in this program. She was one of the facilitators at the program, and the candidates all benefited from her experience So what drove us to do this? I mean, this wonderful lady, Michelle Peel, I've had the pleasure of working with her as a business partner, and now I can safely say she's a friend. And we've had several discussions, and we were working on a particular program for younger children in the AHA Academy. And then we started to ask, how can we help the young adults, if we could take it a little further and help the young adults, didn't we, Michelle?
Yes, we know that learning isn't only just learning in your mind, but also having experience. And so we wanted to create an experience where young people who are in college could make that transition into the workforce in terms of taking on an internship. But to get there, to take the very interesting route of going through all the steps that you would go through to get a job. And so they had the opportunity and they embraced it. They've done resumes for themselves. They've done job interviews with me. They've taken business etiquette classes. They have learned how to manage their finances. And they've also had a class on their mindset so that they could have the right mindset going into that job interview as well as the workplace, because it can be very intimidating to walk into the workplace for the first time and learn all about the organization. But these young people have done an outstanding job, and we're so proud of them.
That is great news. I remember the first time I walked into my first workplace way back in 2001. In
2001.
Yes.
It's an experience, isn't it?
I remember so much about it. It was definitely the type of thing that is implanted in your mind. So if they're better equipped to go into that environment, they're much better set up for success.
Because the transition from university or school into the world of work is like chalk and cheese, as we would say in Trinidad and Tobago.
Indeed, it is.
That's a Trinidadian expression.
I'm pretty certain chalk and cheese as a concept is international, Aaron, but I appreciate your consideration.
Yeah, or backpacks to briefcases, right?
We will stick with that one for today.
That is right. So if we could get one of the young ladies to chip in here, how has this particular experience been for you? I mean, you're clearly interested with intentional development. So tell me how, let's go with Cheyenne. Is it Cheyenne or Cheyenne?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cheyenne. So how has it been for you?
It's been a fun experience, not just a learning experience. It really has been a fun experience. We really did learn a lot from the facilitators, because you can really tell they're really dedicated to what they wanted to teach us, and it really has been beneficial to us. It kind of eased the nerves going into the workplace a lot, and it just left me feeling a lot more prepared in terms of doing interviews and sending out resumes and all of these things. It gives you a new sense of confidence with kind of navigating something that's so different from just walking on campus and you go to a class with how many of other people and you don't get noticed, but it's different. So it really helped with the confidence in the workplace.
That is lovely. Regan, if you don't mind me asking, do you agree with the confidence thing? What was your confidence before the program? What scale of 1 to 10? What was it like before the program, and what is it like now?
Well, before it was a 2, and now it's a 7 or an 8. Because before, I wanted to get a job this vacation time anyways, but I didn't know how to get a job, where to get a job, where it was, offering jobs to people my age with no experience. So this program really gave me a great opportunity to get a job.
Alejandra, well, we know what it is like going from being in the classroom or even ahead of the classroom, but to walk into a room where it's just you and an interviewer, you on a panel, how do you feel about doing something like that now?
At the beginning, it was very nerve-wracking to even just think about it. But now, going through the program and learning all the different things that you learn from the different facilitators, you feel much more prepared. And, you always have the nerves, but you know things to say and how to appeal and, how to research a company better. So the confidence, as they both said, is much higher now because you're much more prepared and you understand what you should be doing. So yeah, it's definitely higher.
I just want to, we always say the listeners on WAC 90.1 FM are a bit aged, right? So, Tony, I want to ask, the watchman like that, Ricardo. Tony, I want to ask, right? Just to bring some context for the listeners. In their days, they would have a program called JA, right? Junior Achievers. Is this program akin to what one would have endured during JA? In terms of the skills and stuff like that?
Well, Aaron, let me tell you, as an aged listener myself, I was a part of JA. So junior achievement was something. Age is a good word, Aaron. I'm not hiding from that at all, right, Ricardo? It's not.
I agree. I've been aged since I was unaged. Yes, so I agree.
But yes, I certainly remember being a part of Junior Achievement, and that was truly wonderful. Junior Achievement's mission and their aim is about empowering and inspiring young people to be the best that they could be. And in that, you would remember that we had to do things like learn how to be an entrepreneur and so on. Yes? This program is similar in many ways, and it's also different. It is one where, yes, we do believe that we could start preparing to make a difference in the future now. We, the aged, or we, the mature or experienced adults, have no idea of what these young people are capable of doing. We do not know. The rate at which technology is going and growing is by far so fast that I'm a youth and parenting coach, and I'll tell you, even for a parent, it's a lot on your shoulders because you can't keep up with how quickly things are going. So if we take students that are in universities and they're learning they're preparing to get a degree. By the time the degree is obtained in 4 years' time, it might be worth so much less because the technology has changed. Therefore, we at the AHA Academy believe that we should empower these young people. And yes, the university is important. Being there and learning the academic side and being prepared and obtaining their degrees is quite important. However, we want to be able to work with them and understand what their needs are. When we decided on who the facilitators should be and what should be a part of this program, we didn't just go and research programs like it and say, here's what. These are the things that should be told. Every single facilitator, you heard them when they spoke about the fact that the facilitators clearly did it with passion. It is because they really allow them to have their voice. Because sometimes as adults, well-meaning parents who really want the best for our children, we want to superimpose upon them what we believe is the right thing for them and the way they should go. Why not give them a voice? Why not create a program where they get to be a part of creating the program? And these young ladies who are here, in addition to the young man who couldn't come on today, they embrace this program so much. You ever had a program where you had 100% attendance? They attended every single session. And I'm talking about sessions that even when they went out to work, we call it, yesterday we had a session. Yesterday on Sunday we had a session with them. And they attended every single one. because they have a voice. And if I were to talk to the listeners, including myself, I would say, let us really open the doors for young people, to allow them to create the world that they can create, not the one that we want them to create, the one that they have in their hearts and they have the power to do. We just have to facilitate and guide and create an environment for them to bloom and to thrive and to grow.
Ricardo, can I?
Go ahead, Aaron, go ahead.
Inside the living room, we have pointed out that one of the biggest problems in our country is succession planning, right? And that the persons who are currently at the helm will be the person sitting in their rocking chairs in a couple years.
Or no. They are.
Didn't want to go there, but cool.
I just saying. I can say it. You can't fire me if I'm not working for you. So I will say it. Too many of the people in leadership positions are at the helm. The fact that we still use the term "at the helm" is already an indicator, right? That they might be better suited for teaching. Okay, if we want to go retirement, because you know what we have now? We have remote consoles, and we have the wheels and at the control panel, right? The premise of the helm, as they may have known it, doesn't exist anymore. It is a different style of leadership, different technologies, different systems.
And we really need to embrace the youth of today and take with us the innovative ideas which they are coming forward with. Right? Any questions, Ricardo? Or I could...
Yes, actually, I was going to ask about, well, we have, as Aaron so questionably, politically correctly said earlier, a bevy of beauties in the room.
Wow.
But you'd mentioned, Tonya, that there was a young man who couldn't attend this afternoon. So that answered the question I was going to ask. Is it gender-specific enrollment? Is it that there's a vast majority of young women compared to the young men? What is your enrollment currently like?
Well, to do the program this time, we decided to select a small group. We did start off with 5 candidates, 2 males and 3 females. One had to leave for personal commitments and was unable to complete the program. But to say that we are gender specific, that's totally incorrect. You know, we want to. We've seen the young men, again placed in a box in terms of what they are expected to do, and the types of jobs that they are expected to go out and do. And we didn't want to continue to contribute to that sort of thinking. So for now, we believe a small group to start with is a great place to be, so that we could shape the program. As a matter of fact, this AHA Academy logo that I'm wearing, I'm very proud to wear, was designed by Cheyenne. She's a graphic artist. She's studying she's on her 3rd year in CrossFit, doing her degree. So to tell you that we are allowing, or I shouldn't use the word allow, because it's really, we are embracing ourselves, the youth, giving their ideas, male or female, as to what should be a part of the program. I would say to people listening to this program, keep an eye out for the AHA Academy and the AHA Academy young people, because it is going to grow, not because Michelle and I are so brilliant and because we know what is the right thing to be done, but it's because we have people like Cheyenne and Regan and Elisha and Alejandro who have been part of this program and are truly giving of themselves. Because I mean, you would love to see them in action. Yesterday they brought their moms out to tea with us. So, with the different types of things, they can share with you some of the things that they got to be a part of, and they spoke to their parents and told them about it.
Well, I was now going to ask for the young ladies in the room, Cheyenne, Reagan, and Alejandra, what was one of the most memorable experiences thus far in being a part of the AHA Academy?
I think for me was our personal branding session. I really like that one because we had a little photo we did a photo shoot to take like headshots to use professionally, and I thought that whole experience was fun. With seeing all of us get our pictures taken, and not only that, like the facilitator who conducted it on the personal brand, and she was brilliant. I really enjoyed her. And I thought the session was good, like knowing how to brand yourself and put yourself out there, especially for me as a graphic designer or someone in the field of like that creative field. It really was helpful, you know. Yeah,
I mean, all these sessions were amazing. The one that really stood out to me, it was the one actually conducted by Marsha. So she did etiquette with us, and you know, we sat down and we learned how to eat with different knives and forks, and we went through a whole like full course meal, and she taught us how to walk. The girls had their heels, you know, so everything was really fun. You know, it was very lighthearted, but at the same time we learned so much new things that we probably didn't know before. So
yeah, like Alejandra said, all these sessions were great, but one of the most memorable ones was with Tonya herself, which was emotional intelligence. He taught us how to be emotionally intelligent and aware of our emotions and how we perceive other people, how we react to other people. And it was really helpful and educational, especially when interacting with lots of different people in the workplace.
Yeah. Now, I have a strange question to ask here. I know you're focusing on younger persons, right? But there are persons, middle-aged persons, who would be now completing their degree as well, and may also be interested in learning skills like these. Can older persons enroll in this program as well?
I think it's certainly something to consider, Yuan, because it's not the age, you know, that matters. It's about where we are and our this journey of life. You know, we could be older and still at a stage where your next step is something that requires assistance, and we believe, and again I must commend both of you, Ricardo and yourself, because of for programs such as this in the living room. If we are talking about, you started off earlier in the beginning of your program talking about the violence and the sadness and the things that are happening in our country. And yes, we can look at how to solve crime and doing these things, but everybody has a role to play. You know, we can't go and take these things out of people's hands, but we can certainly do things like what you are doing. You've created in the living room, and this is where we believe that these things start. We might find that a mother or father or older brother or someone in the living room wants to take that next step, and maybe it's the next step in their career, maybe it's a change of career. I discovered this thing I really wanted to do in my 40s. I mean, I think that's when I really started doing what I really wanted to do. It wasn't when I was at a younger age. I wish I was exposed and to these type of things where I got to have the freedom of discovering what my passion is and so on. So yeah, you're right. It could be at any age or any stage of your life once you are ready and open. They say when the student is ready, teacher pairs. We are happy teachers to pair, and we are also happy to be learners because we can learn from them as well.
I have a very, very, very personal connection to the last series of statements. Up to 3.5 or 4 years ago, I was hiring graphic designers to do work I had to do. And then the job that I'd been in for over 15 years was removed. And at that point, I had to decide whether or not I was going to try to get back into the field or continue along that path, or do the thing that I felt I could actually have an impact in. And fast forward 3.5 or 4 years under the tutelage of people like Aaron himself, I'm in media and communications now. I'm doing content creation, video editing, podcasts, etc. I was 36 and starting a new career completely from scratch. I want to acknowledge Elise Romani and Terian Chiming, because I would be messaging and calling them asking for advice on how to do things that now it's second nature, it's basics, it's foundation, but I needed mentorship, I needed support. Aaron was very supportive in terms of the manner in which I would carry myself on air. He has not completely succeeded in taming this wild beast, but I understand the value of being able to work within a system. It even led to the opportunity where I'm responsible for a mentorship program at the Sophia Miriam Foundation, where we are mentoring young girls from the ages of 12 to 19 across the hemisphere, right? Suriname, Guyana, Dominica, St. Lucia, the US, the UK, South Africa. And I have no right to be there except for the fact that I was willing to embrace the changes when they came. I had leadership and I was willing to learn. So now I'm going to ask Michelle if she could point out to us how the organization has learned from being with the girls.
Well, first of all, their passion is unlimited. So it's really exciting to work with these young ladies and also with the gentleman who's not with us because they're so passionate. So that helps to bring energy into the relationship that we have, this learning relationship. And so that gets us excited even more so than we were before we started. And then second of all, they continually prove what Tanya was saying. They know more than we can imagine, and they can bring more creativity and ideas to us and share with us some things that we would never know had we not met them. So like from every relationship that we have, it's just an enrichment experience for us. And we get to kind of see things through their eyes, what it's like to take that education and the experiences they had in school, and then to take with the fresh eyes, look at the workplace, and then they kind of reflect back to us what it's like for them to enter that workforce or to walk into that building the first day. And so we get different kinds of experiences and stories from them than we possibly had for ourselves. So that's been really, really exciting. And to see them succeed and tell us some of their success stories. And at the end of this program, we're going to have a really cool graduation. And it's going to be a big celebration of what they've learned. And that is actually when we will, learn some more from them. So I'm really looking forward to that graduation.
That is excellent news. That is, I get it.
And I'm now going to say what I'm happy to hear inside this program is that the learning is not just passing on information, it's also receiving information, right? And I think that's the part of learning which a lot of us have forgotten. And I'm ready to yes, Ricardo. I'm really happy to see it being embraced in this group, all right? Well, again, I don't think it's time for me to start to ask any weird questions, right? So I'm going to try to keep it within the sphere of what we are here to talk about.
What I want to ask about though is this business etiquette session.
No, I wanted to ask about that too, because as big a man as I am, eating with knife and fork and remembering what the different forks are for specifically is something that my mother constantly has to remind me of.
Yeah.
She always sent me that one picture. If I open the chat between me and my mom on WhatsApp, I probably get that picture like 40 times.
Well, that's because you keep trying to use a knife and fork with your cereal, Aaron, and it doesn't work like that.
Good thing I don't eat cereal, but anyhow.
Listen,
so talk to us about specifically that session with Marsha, because for the listeners here, Marsha was the originator of this program.
When it was the ladies' room.
When it was the ladies' room, right? And So just tell us a bit specifically about that session with Marsha, please, Regan.
So
It's fine, Regan. I have a very expressive face as well. So
as do I, trust me.
Own it, lean into it. It's fine.
okay, well, for that session, it was actually 2 classes. It was 2 separate days. So in the first day we did like posture, how we sit, how you stand, how you walk, how you present yourself, basically. And the second session was like how you eat and stuff like that. And we also did how you sit in conferences and meetings, and how you just present yourself overall.
Good news. I'm glad to have heard you say posture because it immediately made me sit up. Yeah, got the shoulders, back, behind the ears. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And you know what? It also helps with your breathing. It helps a lot with your breathing.
Because a lot of persons who are watching would not understand. If you sit like this, as opposed to sitting like this, the vocals are able to come out a lot clearer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and for people who have big lungs like I do, you need to give them room. And yes, you can have big lungs. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I could have just had large lungs. It happens. Stop judging me, Aaron.
I am not judging you, sir. I'm looking for the talking points for today's interview.
So now, while Aaron is perusing his what should have been a printout,
we are in 2022, Ricardo.
Save paper.
Nobody goes into a presentation with a printed dossier. And also for those and I started back school next week. Lecturers, do not come in class and read directly from the slides. It is boring.
That is a peeve. I loathe sitting through a session that I could have just read myself later.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand that you might be knowledgeable. That does not necessarily make you a good communicator or a good educator. You need to work on some of the soft skills, which is why I like the fact that you all did mindset and emotional intelligence and that type of thing. Because we are seeing way too many professionals who cannot communicate their profession. Right? I love the fact that you have a small team that you could build your program around, and they now, feeling empowered within the program, will feel more confident and empowered in the workplace. So you're not just creating employees, you are generating a leadership style workforce. I'm very excited to hear that there are other programs like this, that this is going on, this is happening. I wish Aaron would take his leadership more intentionally, but that's beside the point.
We'll get to that after. I actually have a question, because Tony, you spoke earlier to the fact that you can't take the tool out of someone's hand, but you could equip them with life skills and tools to ensure that they never pick up that tool. All right. Do you think that that is something that this program is achieving or intends to achieve in the coming years? Because this program is going to be going on for years and years and years. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. And we do believe that. Yes, we do. Because, earlier, while you all were joking around with each other, and Ricardo said to you, for example, you should have printed out. You see, there's a difference in the way the technology is going. So when you say, for example, to a young person, file this, yes? They think that filing something, even you're smiling because you know exactly where we're going, right? Filing something to them is on the computer. Finding a folder and filing it in there. So, it sounds like a silly thing, but there is a gap. There's a gap, people, in the world. There's a gap between what the employers are expecting and what we have been doing for years and what they understand what they can bring. And when it comes to someone making bad choices, if we throw at them what we believe is the answers and what they shouldn't be doing this and they should make better choices, but if instead we show them what would happen? What would happen if you were able to make a choice that brings joy to you, that helps you to tap into your passion? And I met Marsha Marchand from doing a radio interview with her in the village room, and that was the topic that we spoke about was connecting with your authentic self. If we gave people the tools to connect with who they truly are, because God didn't make people who are destroyers and evil and all these things. If we were to just allow, create, support, understand, and therefore listen. If we were to listen to what people need, then yes, we will be able to equip them with the tools that they would gladly put down the destructive tool. Because here's what the destructive tool at some point was bringing some sense of security to them, That's why they picked up that destructive tool in the first place, because they believed it was going to bring them all the things we talk about. But if we then listen and then created a space, just choices, new choices, then there will be other tools to pick up. I mean, if all I have in front of me are these tools, that's all I can pick up.
Yeah.
I think people are complaining, why are you only picking up that? And that's all they're hearing is why and how come, and you are this and you are that, and that's all you're told, then that's all you'll become. When lying deep inside of you is something so pure, so amazing, something that would change this world, then don't you think that we have a responsibility to create an environment to allow this thing to grow and to glow in front of you? And we get to see that, as Michelle was pointing out, throughout the program, when we were working with these young ladies and the two gentlemen, because we had one of them for a big part of the program, to see them, just to hear the conversations as it changed, just to hear them talk about what they're going to do and become and how they're seeing what they're learning at class and how they can apply it to what they're going to do at work. I mean, there are young people out there who don't get that chance, who are all constantly told, because you're from that area, that's all you do. Because you picked up this tool first, that is the tool you're destined to always hold in your hand. But we need to stop that and become part of the solution. Because all of us have pieces of the puzzle that would come together and create a solution. All of us have it. But if I choose to hold back my piece, I prevent the whole picture from being formed. You understand? So we have a responsibility.
I love what I'm hearing here, because it goes back. I can't remember which episode it was in this, Ricardo, when we spoke that to solve and to bring a solution or to bring a way forward out of this, it takes a synergistic approach.
Mm-hmm.
And also back to the episode when we spoke about sports, and I think it was after the interview, the elders in society say it takes a village to raise a child, but apparently we are forgetting that there's an I in village, and we are shunning our responsibility in ensuring that the younger generation has a safe, and when I say safe, I mean an environment where they feel included, where they feel heard and listened to and respected, to be able to thrive. Yeah. And I really love what I'm hearing here. And Ricardo, I know you're itching to say something, but
I'm always itching to say something, Aaron.
And trust me, he is. when I was in my younger days, probably late teens, early 20s, probably, I was living in an area which would have been called what we say today is a hotspot. And the opportunity to pick up the destructive tool was always in front of me. But I realized that that life was not one that I wanted to live. And instead of picking up that tool, I picked up this tool that you see on my head right now, the headphones. And I also picked up my book bag and went to school as well to ensure that I provided myself with opportunities to not head down that destructive road. And also try to pull some of the other young men out of that. But as Mighty Trini say, sometimes you cannot shape a tree when it's too late in life.
One of the things that I really appreciate about this program, being the Young Professionals program, is the value of the peer mentorship opportunities. Because now these young ladies have the opportunity to
and gentlemen.
And gentlemen, yes, correct. Sorry, Ishmael. Is Ishmael listening?
Elijah.
Yes, sorry, Elijah. Yeah, to influence their peers. I grew up on this street that was literally between the big houses and the shacks. I grew up on the street that was in between the two different districts in my neighborhood. And I will never forget a neighbor, maybe a year or two older than I was, if even. And he came from the troubled side of the neighborhood. And I was going to school one morning, and he was walking up the street, and he came out, and he was like, Mitch, don't ever get yourself tied up in this. And he opened his hand, holding some illicit drugs. And he was like, study your book while you have a chance. Don't get tied up in this. And then he went his way. That was like the first time he'd spoken to me and the last time he'd spoken to me in ages. But if that negative experience could have still led to some form of encouragement and support, we have to acknowledge that the kids, the generation, they have innately a desire to improve. They have a desire to add to lend to build. But if every time they have an idea, you shut them down or you put them in place or you correct them on how to do something, then we are teaching them to become uninvolved. So
not just to become uninvolved, Ricardo, to stifle their ability to innovate and create. Right?
Agreed.
You know it goes. It's time for that word.
No, not yet, man.
Not yet. You sure?
No, don't do my that.
I think so.
No, not yet.
All right, cool. But let me ask one more question, and by that time, then it will be that time. Right? So for Cheyenne, Reagan, and Alejandra, I want to ask. Now, we spoke of peer-to-peer mentorship, right? And the peer-to-peer mentorship is not just limited to the program, but it's not going to be limited to you and the persons in your sphere of influence. Would you recommend for the persons who are coming up probably a year below you all in school, or who are freshmen or juniors, or freshmen, sophomores, or juniors? Yeah, Ricardo.
This is me actively listening, Aaron. You go ahead.
Right? For persons who are below you in school right now, would you recommend them to join this program?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely such a good opportunity. And I think I mentioned this before, like the facilitators, they really are passionate about helping us and they're very supportive along the way. And it's just such a good opportunity to really, have that work experience. And they do try really hard to really get you into your field. So, at least you get the experience in what you want to do, which is always a plus. So I would definitely recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, I agreed 100% because, the transition from high school to university to the workplace are two drastic ones. And, going through that, you could feel lonely sometimes, feel like it's just you alone going through. So going through this program, it shows you that there are other people struggling, maybe not knowing exactly what you want to do. and understanding you have choices. You have choices in your career paths, and you don't only have to stick to one field of study, one field of career. And just understanding that you have a lot of choices in it. And the program not only taught us skills for business, but it taught us basic life skills. Communicating with people, just how to make a friend, how to network. So it taught us a lot, and we will definitely recommend it.
Yes, I would very much recommend this program, especially because you meet all these people, not just the other peers in the program that are your age, but the facilitators. They're all business people, have their own networks and companies and resources. So you meet these people and you can always call them up later on in life. They always mention that, they will always help you in any way that they can, even after the program. And it's really comforting, especially when you're going out in the workplace. It's scary. You don't really know anybody. So yeah.
Can I ask you ladies, what is your general field of study? I know for Sanchi said she's doing graphic arts. Big up Costat.
So I'm at UE studying electrical and computer engineering.
Oh wow.
I'm at USC studying psychology.
Oh wow. I went there too.
Yeah, you went everywhere.
I didn't go UE. I didn't go UE though.
I just
Lyman UE plenty.
Oh yeah. Oh, anyway, that's another conversation. Michelle from Michigan, how did you get involved with Tanya and these young ladies and Elisha?
Well, I've known Tanya for a few years now. We've been working together, and we met in another group that we belong to, and it was a professional learning community that actually evolved out of a book that I wrote with someone that Tanya knows. So we co-authored a book together about learning, and it's how to help students learn, and it's for teachers. That was Dr. Dennis Impola, who introduced Tanya and I to each other. He had known both of us and worked with both of us in the past on different things. And he's from Trinidad, but now Nebraska. So we met online during the pandemic and friends ever since. And we developed the AHA Academy from the second book, which is for students, Create AHA Moments, Tips for Learners, which teaches kids to become advocates for their own learning. And it helps them become more active students in class, which is a real need during the pandemic. During the Zoom classroom, it's very difficult for teachers and students to communicate. So at the end of that book, there's a chapter on intentional learning, where the students in the stories in the book, they have different types of experiences that help lead them towards their eventual careers. And so you can see how Tanya and I working together, there has to be a point where after school, the young people are able to learn how to, find their own pathway in life and get that first job. And that's for students, but that's what Tanya and I developed the AHA Academy for. So for kids that maybe they're not big readers, we've got a whole experience lessons they can do to learn and practice these skills with their teachers. So that's a real exciting workshop also that Tanya and I do together.
Nice.
Well, you're on.
You sure?
It's
You sure this time?
You're allowed to say it now.
All right, so we are getting perilously close to the end of today's program, and we just want to extend the opportunity to all the ladies to give some closing remarks and also how to get in contact with the Academy. All right, so I don't know what order it is on the screen, but we could start with Alejandra.
Okay, so I would say that in everything you do, remember that you have choices, and know that preparation is key, but you always face trials, and the main thing is just get back up and keep trying. No matter what you do, just keep trying, and you'll eventually get there.
Nice. Reagan?
I would say that no matter what difficult situation you're in, there's always somebody there to help you. You can always reach out to help. You can always ask at least one person, and they will help you.
Nice. Shan?
well, just to kind of continue off of what Reagan was saying, like, don't be afraid to ask for help or for advice on anything. And as cliche as it might sound, just be yourself. You know, like your personality helps you connect with people. So it's, you know, yeah.
Tanya?
Well, I would like to say that Aaron and Ricardo can consider being facilitators at the next AHA Academy Professional workshop. And I'm not just saying that to get around, I'm saying that it is very possible, especially Ricardo, when you talked about how much of a support Aaron has been to you with, in your career. So I would like to leave that for you to think about. It's very important for us to give a big shout out and expressions of gratitude to the organizations that took these interns, especially in times like these where we had to call quite a number of organizations before us. And they are, Shines at Brighton High, the Alejandra is at TNTech, Reagan at Resin Converters, and Massey Motors in South. They really were amazing. The young people came back and told us about fantastic opportunities that they got, and we'd really like to encourage the other organizations who really want to be a part of this and would like to partner with us to make a difference, to reach out to us. We are in the process of doing the social media pages, which will be up very soon, and it's going to be developed by who? These young people. So they're in the process of doing that as well as the website. In the meantime, I can give a contact number where you can reach me directly, and that is at 374-2820. Or my email, which is tonyarahim@gmail.com.
Ricardo, get the disclaimer one time now.
This contact information is for professional and business purposes only. Only. No DMs, right? No funny business. G's and ages. It's sad that we have to say that in this day and age, but we do. We do.
And Michelle?
So we have learned tonight that at any age, if you're willing and you're open to learning, there are people that will help you. And it is very wise to find an expert who can help you learn the skills that you need to learn to take that next step in your life. And so we highly encourage anyone who's listening to this program, I think all of us on this show would agree, do it, go out there, ask questions from people who can help you, because there are people that they live to help you. So I think that we all get connected. The businesses that offered internships to these fine young people, they were willing to put themselves out there and say, yes, we will embrace these interns. We will bring them into our business. We will help them learn. We will support them, give them the experience. I mean, that's like a magical thing. It seems like it, but it's not. It was people helping people. And Tony got the ball rolling. Really did call a lot of employers. So the ones that stepped up, they were the brave ones. They were the strong, and they were ready. So when the timing is right, we'd like to put more interns into more of these types of organizations. So big shout out to anyone who's listening who might like to be a potential hiring agent of an intern. We can help you, I think. And so that's really where we're at. We need to provide more internships for young people that are going to help them become part of the workforce and have those experiences that they need to grow.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
Ricardo?
I'm very, very proud of what it is you're doing. I am Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the local stage. Thanking you guys for joining us in the living room. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Aaron?
I want to say, firstly, thank you to Marsha for making this connection, right? Secondly, I want to say kudos on the excellent work that you all are doing at the AHA Academy, Tonya and Michelle. Thirdly, I want to say to Cheyenne, Reagan, Alejandra, and
Elijah.
Elijah, thank you very much. Ishmael, stick with me since you said it the first time, so I just had
My apologies, Elijah.
Right.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, right. Keep up the excellent work that you all are doing and stay on this road, right? There will be speed bumps. We are not going to hide that part. There will be speed bumps, but with the skills that you have been equipped with, you'll be able to navigate those speed bumps and continue along that road to success. All right. There are two things that I'm going to end with today. One, the day that you stop learning is the day that you begin to die. So learn something new every day. And also, I remind you all that love is the currency. So spend some today. Let somebody know that you love them, guys. All right. This is yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. I'm always great and I'm never late. And this is another edition of The Living Room, which has now ended. Keep it locked to the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM.